Amy, have you ever gone on a cruise?
No. Have you?
No. Do you
No.
want?
I mean, I did after 4 days ago or before 4 days ago, but I don't know about now.
Not anymore, right?
Definitely not anymore. It's
Because we are talking today about the Netflix sensation that just hit. Poop cruise.
train wreck poop cruise. Jeez.
It's still us, Mo and Amy from the Flippin' Fantastic podcast. This is just our behind the scenes where we talk about everything and anything except reselling. Make sure you subscribe and take a listen. Bye.
I mean, look at that picture. That says it all, you know?
Pretty much does, yeah. It's
No,
crazy.
thank you, Mo. I will stick to land-based activities.
I have no desire to go on a cruise anyway because I used to get so violently motion sick. When I stopped eating gluten, that stopped.
Oh,
I
really?
I don't know why, but it did. Yes.
Huh.
But I since birth, Amy, since birth, you put me in a car and 10 minutes later,
Oh,
I was
wow.
sick.
Oh, so did you ride the school bus going to school and stuff?
Oh yeah.
So could you not sit in the back of the bus? Because that was always the
Oh,
bumpier
I
ride.
could. Like I think as I got older, it was a little bit better and you know, it wasn't all the time as
Hmm.
I got older, but it was if I was going to be okay, like say we drove somewhere on vacation, highway, okay.
Yeah.
Because straight, mostly.
Uh-huh.
Back roads, forget it. So I when when I was in 6th grade, we went excuse me, we went on a camping trip, like, for school, because we learned about and this is ingrained in my head. We learned about the different types of energy, fossil fuels and nuclear and hydroelectric, and we went camping and we saw well, did we see a nuclear? I guess did we? But we went to camping near a dam
Huh?
and there was some coal mining, so we kind of saw all of it. It was neither energy plant. Anyway, it was
Hmm.
fun. We went camping. That was the big thing, right? On the
Yeah.
way home, on the way home, I was like, I don't feel good. And then I was like, I really don't feel good. And my teacher, he came back and he started patting me on the back. He's like, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay." I'm like, "I'm really not."
Oh no.
And I wasn't.
Oh no. Did you have a bag or something?
I think they might have given me, because we were just on a school bus,
Uh-huh.
maybe like the school bus trash can, the bucket.
Oh my gosh.
I don't remember. Like, I think I've like traumatized. I blocked that part out. Here's the best part though. So he was a great teacher. Rest in peace.
Mhm.
He passed away a while ago. He goes over. Oh no, when I started, I went back to school, got a teaching degree, and I quit my other job right before I had to do student teaching because I was like, I'm gonna get a job while I'm student teaching. So I started subbing and I subbed at that school. I subbed at my school. And he was like, I saw him, I introduced myself. He goes,
Stop it.
Run, you're the only one that ever got sick.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, I'm
That's
glad that's what you remember me for. He was laughing. He was a really nice guy.
oh my
So
gosh,
anyway,
that's
so
too
this is
funny.
why I would never get on a cruise because all I can think about is like, just makes me,
Oh no. Oh
because I know I
no.
would. I know I
You
would.
think
So,
so? Oh man.
oh yeah.
Well, it's not because, you might have to poop in a red bag or something like that.
I'd be Dramamine all day for me. I got
Oh my gosh.
oh god. So, yeah, so let's talk about what happened. I'll have to cut out my long ass stupid story.
Leave
The
it.
barfing in
Leave it.
6th
It's
grade.
funny. You leave it, Mo.
I have a million of those stories. That's just the one that correlates to like someone knowing me like 30 years later, right?
Oh
20
my
years later,
gosh.
20
Yeah.
years later.
Oh my gosh.
20, 25. The he no, but I have a million
A million.
stories of me like everybody knew. But I went gluten-free for other reasons, and then I noticed that I wasn't feeling car sick anymore.
Mhm.
Because even if I didn't get sick, sometimes I would feel kind of, bad before I got out.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe it just like it just kind of like just tipped you over the edge. The gluten just tipped you over.
Yeah, I
You
don't know
know?
if it was like, because it causes inflammation. So I don't know if I had like inner ear inflammation.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know.
Huh.
But it was happening when I was practically a baby. I had to
Yeah.
get Dramamine. My mom had a prescription for me
Oh
back in
my
the day before it
gosh.
was over the counter.
Oh no. Poor baby Mo.
Well, some people do also say that it's related to like eyesight,
Okay, I could see that.
like being nearsighted or something. I don't know.
Uh-huh. I could totally see that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I could. Yeah. So this was on the Carnival cruise line? And
Yes. The
what
Carnival Triumph.
Triumph, yes.
Yeah.
Later renamed, and we'll talk about that
Yeah, we'll
too.
talk about that later because I
Yeah.
found something else out. I don't know if they said it in the show, but I'll get back. We'll get back to
Oh,
that.
okay. We'll
But yeah,
circle back.
follow some. Yeah, circle back. There were some people on this cruise that they interviewed. So they had the one guy that was there with his fiance and in-laws.
Mhm.
They had the bride and her bridesmaids
Yeah,
on
yeah.
their bachelorette. They had a chef.
Extravaganza.
They had a chef.
Oh, yeah, the
Oh, they had the
chef.
cruise director
And then
and
like that other girl, like the Ukrainian or Soviet, Russian.
yeah, she was from Russia. Yeah.
And what was the other one? And then the father-daughter. The
Oh, the father
father-daughter
daughter.
people.
Yeah, and then there was like another guy. He was like just a crewman. I don't know what he was.
Yeah. But just hearing all of their different stories. I walked away with so many more questions that they didn't answer just because I'm like, whoa, I
Hmm.
want to know the little details of
Right.
like everything. But
Yeah.
it was
Yeah. So to sum it up, they had a fire, one of the lower decks or something, that
yeah.
affected because they didn't really. It must have been electrical fire, although the smoke was coming up through the sink in the kitchen. He said, and
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. They did say that.
mhm,
But yeah, they said it was in the engine room, the like one of the major
yeah,
engine rooms the fire
yeah,
was. Yeah. And there was over, what was it, like 4,200 people, passengers
yeah, because
on
like a
board?
thousand of them are
And crew. Yeah.
staff.
Yeah. So
These
that's a
cruise
lot.
ships are crazy. This isn't even one of the bigger. I mean, it's a big one, but it's not the
Mhm.
biggest one or anything.
Right. Well, did you remember this before we get started? Did you remember hearing about this on the news or anything? Because this happened in 2013.
Yeah, I don't
Do you
really
remember?
recall, but it's
Mm.
not something that I more remember hearing, but maybe that's because it's tied to COVID. I don't know, but I more remember hearing about people like everybody getting a norovirus on the ship. And I mean, like
Oh,
once one person has that, forget it.
yeah.
It's almost
True.
impossible, you know. But I've
Mhm.
heard those where like, and then people have to stay in their rooms and
Yeah.
because
But
that's just terrible. Like norovirus, I mean, don't go near anyone that's had that virus. Stay away for like a good week or so because that stuff is so contagious. So I
Mhm.
remember hearing that. I don't particularly remember this.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
don't either. I don't remember it either. But I 2013, I was trying to think what I was doing, and I worked the night shift, so I might not have been like
Oh yeah.
it work like, had TV and stuff on and stuff like that. But
Right.
I thought I tried to like remember. I don't remember it at all, but I
Mm-mm.
definitely won't forget it. That's for sure.
Right.
So what happened? So they started in Texas, then they went to Cozumel, and
Yeah.
then they stayed in Cozumel, and then they were going back home to
Yeah. It was
Texas.
a short cruise.
Yeah, it was like
Like it
on day
was
4 or something that it
I mean, it
started.
was only like a week, like
Yeah, I don't even think it was a
maybe
week
not even
cruise.
7 days. I don't know how long they were supposed to be out there.
Yeah. Like I feel like it was like a 4 or 5 day cruise. I can't remember from the show, but
Yeah. Yeah, like
yikes.
a couple days out to Cozumel and then a couple
Mhm.
days, a day over there and then
Mhm.
a couple days back. So, yeah, it was a
Yeah,
short cruise and you don't think I mean, they're not even in the ocean. They're just in the Gulf.
of America, I know.
It was then called the Gulf of Mexico, but now the Gulf of America.
True. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, so they
when
weren't even out in the middle of the ocean, you know?
Well, thank goodness, because they were drifting.
Right.
Like when they lost
Yes.
all power, their
Mhm.
boat was just like dead in the water and just drifting with tides and
Yeah,
currents
because
and
it
stuff.
took them longer to get to them because they didn't I guess they weren't sending out any signals
Yeah.
because
Well,
they had drifted they had drifted east of where they would have been
right.
by the time
Yeah.
the tugboats got to them. They
Mhm.
went to Mobile instead of back to Galveston or wherever
Yeah.
they were. Or no, well, they were actually going to tow them to a port in Mexico because that would
Right.
have been closer, but it wasn't closer since they had drifted so far.
Which when they were talking about that,
Hmm.
so when the fire happened, it shut everything off on the boat eventually. It's
Yeah.
like lost
Hmm.
all the power. So then they started drifting. When they talked about, oh, we're going to go back to Mexico. We're just going to get tugged back to Mexico.
Yeah.
I thought before they even said it, I was like, I bet you, because we watch a lot of sailing and stuff. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
Uh-huh.
It made me think of it. I thought, I bet you that they're going to wait until they drift away. And then they're going to go, oh, you're too far to come back to Mexico. Now it's US's problem to deal with. Do you know what I mean? And that's exactly what happened. I think Mexico delayed because then they think about the inconvenience that would have been, or maybe Carnival delayed it intentionally to get it back to the US. I don't know. Because think about the travel, the expenses to having to travel to cost the cost to travel all of those passengers back home to the US. It
That's
was
true.
probably
That's true.
cheaper to do it from the United States than Mexico, you know?
Yeah. That's true.
So, okay. So in the documentary, they were talking about, okay, oh, we lost power. And then when it's time to eat, we had like soggy bread and lettuce and tomato because obviously they
Mhm.
just lost all their perishable foods, which
Yeah, they had to throw most
they
of it
had to,
away. Yeah.
they had to throw it all away, which I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, that is a bummer. I mean, yeah, that's a bummer because that's a lot of people. And then they had
Hmm.
like a cruise ship that came closer to them, and I guess they dropped off some probably like non-perishable supplies
Right.
for
Yeah.
them and stuff.
Uh-huh.
But then when they were like, oh, then we realized we were gonna have a problem because the toilets don't work. And those three women, Mo, I was watching this. Okay, first of all, they talked to these three women that were like like a bachelorette, like little
Yeah.
party type thing.
Uh-huh.
They went on this cruise for a bachelorette party, and all they talked about was, we just want to go drink. We just want to go drink. We want to go to the bar. Then when they went to Cozumel, all they did was party hard.
Mhm.
And their quote, Mo, I think verbatim was, we left our dignity in Cozumel. Do you remember that?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
did you see some of the pictures of them?
Yes. They were like, yes. So this is my point, Mo. When these three women were talking about, oh, we're sleeping and blah, blah, blah. And then we had these beacons that we had to pour soda on. So the beacons would turn on and flash light because, there's no
Yeah.
lights in their rooms.
Yeah,
And
they
then,
took them off the life jackets. They're the
yes.
little blinky lights, yeah. So
So
when they
she's
get
like,
wet, they blink.
yeah, so they blink so you can see or be seen.
Yeah.
And she was like, and then they said that, we were going to have to use like urinate in the shower. And we were all like, you want us to urinate in the shower? I mean, that is disgusting. And then you can't even wash off. And I just thought, you guys just said you left your dignity in Cozumel. You can't tell me that basically peeing in the shower like you had to, like squat and pee, is the exact same thing as squatting over the toilet so your butt doesn't touch the toilet seat. It's the exact same thing. So
Said,
these women are going crazy over
Drew
nothing.
said, Drew said, these girls have definitely squatted outside somewhere.
And the fact
He's like,
that,
and they're getting mad about doing it. That's exactly what he said. He's like, and
yeah,
they're getting mad about doing it.
exactly. You're doing it in privacy. And these women are acting like they didn't have toilet paper, like the toilet paper blew off the ship or something. So all they were talking about was peeing in the shower, and you still had toilet paper, which you could, use the toilet paper and throw it in the trash can. So I just thought these women are completely over exaggerating. Do you
Back
know what I
in the
mean?
day, I think everybody did a little bit on
Oh
this. I
yeah,
don't know if they if they were directed to do that. Do you know what I mean? Or if it's just
100,
edited that way.
100.
Because the other dude was like going on about his father-in-law, and they kept showing pictures of father-in-law like looking like,
Like I'm gonna beat your ass.
and he's like a dorky dude. Like I think they played that up. Like they definitely did. Oh my
Yeah,
God. But
for
yeah, that's
sure.
what Drew said. He goes, those girls have definitely popped a squat in worse places.
Yes, of course. I mean, yes, because they said. I mean, I know I said it. Left our dignity in Cozumel.
Oh, yeah.
So
Squat in the
come
shit.
on, ladies. Come on, ladies. Oh my gosh.
That'd be the last thing I was complaining about is
Oh, having to pee in the shower or
yeah,
whatever.
be the
No,
last thing because
but then
it
when they
got
were like, yeah, then when they were like, oh, so for number 2, we're gonna have to pass out red biohazard bags, and then
yeah,
you just need to go number 2 in these bags, and then stick it
yeah,
out in the containers in the galley, not the galley, but the hallways or whatever.
yeah, and then
Which
they
I
took
was
them
like,
below
yeah,
deck.
yeah, below deck, yeah. And
And I
you know
mean
what?
that is worse, but you know what? Like you gotta do what you gotta do.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah. I was like, oh, well, they could have just made it less crazy and then maybe put the biohazard bag over top of like their trash can in their bathroom to make a like a
they
little
could have
seat.
put it over top of the toilet.
Well, I don't know if the bag was that big to stretch out. Do you know what I mean? To stretch out over the toilet seat. Do you know? I'm not sure
Oh,
how
I
big.
don't know.
I was thinking of
Yeah.
the ones like that we would have in the hospital. So I don't know how big these ones were. Maybe they were big. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, clearly I didn't sign up to go camping on a cruise ship, but I was
I
just,
don't know about you, but I like campgrounds with the with an actual facility.
well, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I mean.
But yeah, I know.
So I was
Yeah,
like,
I don't know how they do it. I was just assuming that they would be big enough to like put the toilet and
oh, I don't know.
sit and
True.
go, you know. I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know.
I wondered if they, I was like, oh, after this, I wonder if they, if in case they ever come across a situation again, I wonder if they can make, maybe this is my new side hustle. Maybe they can make biodegradable. Well, I guess that defeats the purpose of it being biohazard.
Here's one in
Eh,
the hallway.
that's true.
Yeah, biodegradable poop
Bio,
bags.
biodegradable, so that way they can dump them overboard because that's what they're doing anyway. They're dumping the toilets in the ocean.
Right.
So if you had a biodegradable bag, then it would just be safe to just dispose overboard. I don't know.
Right. Although the chef guy said that he watched somebody
Oh my
throw one
God.
over and it blew back and it hit somebody below.
In the
Oh
leg.
man.
I know. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It was crazy because they showed them like pulling mattresses onto the like decks and making like tent forts because of the
Yeah.
sun and weather and stuff like that. But then when they said that the tugboats came and started pulling them, and then the boat started listing because
Mhm.
they were pulling them,
Yeah.
then they said that the showers and the toilets all started to like all the water started to come out. So then it was just like a petri dish of
Yeah.
fluids and stuff. And
There you go. Dirty water everywhere.
I mean that part is disgusting.
That's
This
the
this
worst part. Like I
yeah.
don't think that they really knew how good they had it until that happened
Right.
because pooping in a bag is one thing, but then having it everywhere. And yeah, like people I didn't pull a picture, but people
Mhm.
pulled their mattresses and put them out on deck or put them in the hallways because a lot of those cabins are windowless.
Yeah.
There's no air flow.
Right.
So you're just in a friggin' stale hot box. So
Gosh.
people had pulled them out into the hallways where there was, some airflow, I guess, and
Yeah.
out onto the decks, which I don't blame because yeah, Drew was like, he was like, why? Because I go, for all those windows you see of people that have like a balcony, there's a million more rooms that don't have any windows. They're
Yeah.
inside.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And think about it like when your power goes out in the summer from some storm, it instantly starts to get humid in your house, like
Yes. Mhm.
instantaneously. Yeah, I couldn't
Yep.
imagine. I know. So they eventually got towed in, and In the part that I thought was really good was when they were talking to the passengers that they were interviewing,
Yeah.
and they were all so good about saying the crew was fantastic during this whole ordeal
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I thought that was really nice.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of stuff that I wanted to know, like how did during this chaos, how do the employees handle it, and how does their work change? Do you know what I mean? Like, now you're in like crisis mode, basically.
Mhm.
Like, like if you're in a room, I don't know, I've never been on a cruise, but if I'm assuming there's different tiers of like cabins, like maybe there's
Yeah.
some cabins that have room service and stuff. Like,
Mhm.
does that all go out the window? That
I'm
kind of
sure.
care.
I mean, we don't have any kind of food or anything. Listen, I think all 1,000 of those employees are just hauling poop bags to the lower decks.
And then when that one guy, he said he jumped out of bed that morning and it was just like water. He stepped in all the
Oh
water. I was
yeah.
just like,
Yeah, he was a
I mean,
crew.
how do you
So
go? Well, one, I was like, if nothing's working, is the water working on the boat? Like, like when you turn on the faucets, like were they able to like turn on water at all and shower? And how were they keeping their hands clean? Like as far as the employees for like cooking and or what
yeah,
not
I don't
cooking,
know.
but preparing
Yeah,
food. I had
I
so
don't
many
know.
questions, Mo. My
I'm
ADHD
assuming
was
that
like,
none of it worked because you can't pump the water. I'm assuming the water's all below, like in big tanks. You can't pump it up, which is why a toilet can't flush. Well, and this is one of the reasons why there was such a mess is people weren't pooping in the bags. People were going in the bathrooms and just
yeah.
leaving it there, just layering it up.
Ew, what did he say? That the chef guy said it
Lasagna,
looked like a lasagna.
poop
Oh my
lasagna.
gosh, poop lasagna. That as soon as they said poop lasagna, I started thinking about PewDiePie's song. Like he made a song, it was called Bitch Lasagna, and that was what was running through my head. I was like, oh my god.
I can you imagine just I mean I've been you look, we've all
Look,
been men's restrooms I'm sure can get pretty nasty, but women's
I
because we have other things going on too. I've
oh
been in
yeah.
some nasty ass public bathrooms.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that aspect of, half the people on that boat were women, and probably, at least 25% of them had some flowing
Yeah.
going on.
So
Yeah.
you got
Oh,
that too. I mean, it's
ooh.
just oof, you
Oh
know.
my gosh.
But we forgot the best part.
Yeah.
So I don't was it when they were getting towed? They just the crew was like, "Well, we might as well open the bar.
Oh, yeah,
Free
yeah, yeah,
drinks
yeah.
for everybody." I was like, "Just what all these people need." Nobody wants the bridesmaids and the bride are all taking Imodium.
Right,
No, the one guy, he's like going deck after deck after deck looking for a working toilet.
right. Yeah.
And now you're gonna open the bar? Like
Mhm.
it's the last thing you need.
I guess it probably works for like 5, 6, 7 hours, to
Yeah,
like
I mean, I guess just to calm the beasts, just to
exactly.
give everybody something. I mean,
Mhm.
because that's what you go on the cruise to do is eat and drink, right? So,
Eh, I guess, yeah. Yep. And then what happened, Mo? What happened to when they finally got to port? Do you remember? Oh, I'm glad they talked about this too, because I was thinking, oh, how did they compensate these people? Was it just a
uh-huh.
silly, oh, we give you a free cruise voucher? I saw that they refunded their cruise. They
Yeah,
gave them expenses for travel, I guess back home, since
yeah,
whatever. They gave them $500, and then they
uh-huh,
gave them another free cruise
yeah,
if they wanted it. So I was
right.
like, I mean, that's the least they could do, right? Probably.
Oh,
I feel like
yeah.
that was the least they could do. Oh, and then I
The
forgot we should cover this too. When they were talking to that maritime lawyer.
maritime lawyer, yeah,
Yes, they
that guy, he
said,
was like smoking a cigar and
oh, they definitely they were like, oh, this is a character with his like
yes.
bourbons and cigars and stuff like
Uh-huh.
that. But I guess they basically couldn't have a class action lawsuit because when you purchase your ticket, it basically says, we don't care what happens to you. We don't have to give you food. We don't have to give you water. We don't have to give you proper sanitation. We don't even have to treat you like a human. So they couldn't sue. So, but they did settle. Some people settled out of court with the cruise line.
Right.
Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh. And
I like
then what?
oh, go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that father and daughter, and they were like, yeah, they gave like updates on everybody. They're like, they still go on cruises, not on Carnival though. I mean, I've heard stories that Carnival's like kind of the bottom of the
Yes.
cruise line industry.
Which is, I'll just say this real quick. It's a bummer that I've heard that too, that Carnival's the
Mhm.
lowest one. And that port, there's a Carnival port like 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
And which would be ideal if to go on a
Yeah. You
cruise
don't
to
have
go
to
to
go
that
anywhere.
one.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I don't want to go on Carnival, just because it doesn't look like the vibe that I want to be, doesn't look like
Right.
the vibe I want. So I would
Right.
have to travel, which is unfortunate because we could literally just, I mean, I would drive further than work. I would drive further to work than this cruise
Right.
port.
Exactly.
So I know.
So at the end, they also told us about how, like, it just, it put up on the screen that the Carnival Triumph's name, the Triumph got a full top to bottom cleaning, and they changed the name. Did they tell us when they changed the name? They changed the name to Carnival Sunrise.
They didn't say when, but I'm
Okay,
assuming
because
just literally right after, right?
I looked this up,
Okay.
and I found a article from the Palm Beach Post from 2019, January.
Okay.
A Carnival Cruise Line ship has been cited by inspectors from the Centers for Disease Control for more than 24 violations involving unsanitary conditions. Okay, so apparently the CDC goes on these cruise lines and inspects them. So, like a health inspector would in a city or whatever.
Right.
Remember, this article is from January of 2018. The poop cruise happened in 2013.
Okay.
The failing grade for the Carnival Triumph is
Hmm.
rare for a major cruise line. Conditions cited by the CDC includes flies in the food preparation area, milk, cheese, eggs, and yogurt not kept at the proper temperature, dishwashers and machinery clogged with extremely soiled and clogged. So it was an unannounced inspection. They have a vessel sanitation program. Anyway, it received and they still called it the Carnival Triumph. 5
Okay.
years later, it scored a 78 out of 100. Grades below 86 are considered failing.
Okay.
Anyway, so that was that.
Huh. So
Okay.
maybe that didn't have
So I
anything to do
looked
with.
it up. So I looked
Uh-huh.
up. I was like, what? I go, why are they still calling it the Triumph? That show made it sound like they cleaned it up, they gave it an overhaul, and they changed the name. Because when you change the name, nobody wants to get on the Triumph anymore.
Right.
In February 2013, this is AI Wikipedia, I guess, the Carnival Triumph experienced a major engine fire, leaving the ship stranded in the Gulf of Mexico with no power or air conditioning or working toilets. The incident, dubbed the Poop Cruise due to the resulting sanitation issues, is now the subject of a Netflix documentary. Following the incident, the ship underwent extensive repairs and was renamed Carnival Sunrise in 2019.
Oh. So
So
maybe
they
it was
didn't.
after that CDC
Yeah, it
deal.
was. That's what I'm saying. It was after the CDC gave him a failing grade. I mean, it sounded
Oh,
like they had updates to do. It sounded like kitchen stuff wasn't working right. You know,
true.
it was
Interesting.
$200 million upgrade
Which
in
is
Spain.
insane.
Yeah, in
That
Spain, it went
just
to Spain
shows
to do that.
that just shows you how lucrative that the cruising industry
Oh,
is, that you can spend
it's
that much.
ridiculous,
Yeah.
ridiculous. But anyway,
Yeah.
I thought that was crazy. I thought it would have to go undergo extensive repairs after it had a fire and everything
Right.
was
Burned up.
5 years later. It's crazy, right? I thought
Yeah.
that was nuts. That was my
Yeah.
investigative journalism for
No, that is good because they did make it seem like, oh, we cleaned her up, made her all sparkly, and gave her a brand new name.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
so it was
More than
other
5 years
stuff.
later, 6 years later, they gave her the
Mhm.
new name. 5 years later is when they basically I'm thinking I didn't see that anywhere, but I'm thinking after that failing health inspection that they were
Yeah.
like, we're doing some that needs an overhaul. But you can still get on the poop. the poop boat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine the overhaul of it. But after I watched this, I was on social media. You know how social
Yeah.
media knows what you're watching and stuff.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of people going, "Oh my God, I just watched the poop cruise." And then they were like, "I've been on the poop cruise." And then it showed the carnival sunrise. And they were like, "I
Yeah.
was on that boat. I'm disgusted. I can't believe it." That kind of stuff.
I'd be more disgusted if I was still on it when it was called the trial
Oh, and you
after,
didn't even know. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know.
in
I don't know.
between.
That's
If
true.
you
Wonder how
in
long it took
this,
to overhaul it too, you
I
know?
don't know.
And like, here, my ADH brain, what do they do? What kind of stuff do they do? How do they
I don't
clean it?
know.
Is
They
it
took it to
literally
Cadiz, Spain. That's where it was done.
Jeez. Wonder how long that took. I figure
Yeah, no,
shipyards work pretty well. Shipyards work pretty fast, but they have time frames, you know?
I don't know. Maybe
Well,
it's on. There's a show on where they build. There's a show. Sometimes Drew, my dad had it on one day, where they're building cruise ships.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
show 'em and like getting them ready. Like all the
Yeah.
stuff that has to go on and
That's so funny. I remember there was a TV show on, I don't know what channel. This was on actual TV. So this was a while ago that I would watch it, like maybe History
yeah.
Channel or something like that.
Hmm.
But it was a show about these guys working in a shipyard. And I was like, I like this show. It's funny. And Matt would look at me and because that's what Matt started in a shipyard, like that kind
Yeah.
of work. It's shipyard
Uh-huh.
work that he does, but it's
Right.
whatever. So he's
Yeah.
just like, I can't believe you're watching a TV show about stuff that I was a part of. Basically, he's like, I can't believe that.
Could have been on a reality show if you
But
stuck it out, Matt.
I thought exactly he probably could have. But I thought, well, everybody watches like Grey's Anatomy, and I don't go, oh my God, I worked in the ER, and clearly
Yeah.
it's not the same, but I mean,
Right. Yeah,
it's like
clearly.
people like it. People like it. But oh my gosh. So I want to know if is there more? Is there more, Mo? Did you find more?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's all I had found.
Okay. So
That's all I looked up.
I want to know if you guys have been on a cruise and tell us your experience because we've never been on one, so we don't have any knowledge of it. So let us know what cruise line you don't like and let us know what cruise line you do like because I would like to go on a cruise. I would like to go to the Bahamas, but I might not be taking a cruise. But so let me know your favorite cruise line and your least favorite cruise line and any horror stories that you've come across, right?
Yeah.
Because maybe we can convince Mo to go to the Bahamas.
No.
Oh no. I mean, not the Bahamas. I meant to say Bermuda. To
Bermuda.
Because it's right across from us. Well,
Yeah.
right across from me. But with that, guys, stay sassy and see you next week. Bye. Don't forget to hit the like button.
Thanks so much for watching and check out more of our videos right here. Stay sassy.